What can fear do to you? And what can fear not do to you? Well, that's a tricky question. Well, some of the answers to these questions shall be given through this video. Stay tuned and welcome back to my channel. This four-letter word can do many things to you. Of course, you're aware of that. F-E-A-R. What can it do to you? And what it cannot do to you? These are two different questions. For those of you new to this YouTube channel, this is Rini Rose Matthew. If you're interested, you can check the main description to find out more about this channel, the purpose of it. I'm an established author and a language trainer. Thank you so much for all your support. And I'm so happy that these videos have been useful, not only in instilling the English language, not only in learning about it, but also about so many other facets of life. Great to read your mails and messages. It's really great to connect with each of you because I can really feel and relate with every reader and every viewer of mine. Thank you so much. So now coming to today's topic, F-E-A-R. It has got a lot to tell you. Now, to an extent, fear is good because it makes you cautious, careful. It also helps you understand the purpose of life. Yes, it is like that. But everything becomes damaged and everything starts taking off track. It starts leading you in a different direction when fear dominates, when you become subservient to fear. That is dangerous. The first thing is, when you observe babies, they always play with the five senses, right? I'm going to speak about that now. So when you give them a new thing, what do? They will play with the fingers, they start fiddling with it, and sometimes they'll go to the extent of throwing it on the floor. And then after that, they examine it, smell it sometimes, or most of the babies, they put it into their mouth. They try to eat it because that's what they know, nibbling and munching. Okay, so five senses is very important, not just when you are a baby or when you were a baby, actually. It is really important, and sometimes we don't really feel, listen, we don't understand things in that way. It's not that you have to have the immaturity to break things, throw things on the floor and find out more about it. That's not the thing that I'm trying to convey. So the first thing is, when you stop listening to your senses, when you stop using it, that is when fear dominates like a villain. The first thing, when you don't understand, when you don't really identify fear, what happens? It can blur your vision. I'm not telling that your eyesight gets impaired. That is not the point. That you're going to lose your vision. You can see, but you will not have the vision. That is what I'm trying to tell you. Because vision means it is something for a purpose, for a mission. So putting it down to smaller sentences and breaking it down, what I'm trying to tell you is that vision is a combination of purpose, scheduling, planning, organizing things, sometimes foreseeing things also. You don't have to be an astrologer to foresee things. You have to plan and do all these things. It's a combination of everything. Sometimes you will not be able to focus and concentrate. You can see literally. Your eyes are perfect, but vision is not there. It gets blurred because that villain is acting at the back. You see many things in front of you, but really you don't see what is happening. That is because fear is dominating, and sometimes physically also you feel that you're going blind, or sometimes darkness overtakes your vision or your sight also sometimes. So this is a repercussion of what has been happening in the mind. So first is lack of concentration, lack of focus, lack of everything, and finally you say, I cannot see, I'm not able to see what I'm doing, I don't know what I'm doing. So that is the first thing when it dominates, the first sense. The second thing is you fail to listen. Now, hearing is different from listening. You can hear me, I can hear you. But at the same time, it's not necessary that you're listening to me. Listening is very important. That is really important for you to become a better communicator. These days, I understand the world is highly competitive. and it's really fast. People really don't have time to listen. I'm not telling that you should sit and waste your time on a person or something that is really useless and not going to do anything for you. You can have different ways of getting away from it or staying out of focus on such things. But when it's time to listen, when it's important, you have to really listen. Now, listening is not just hearing. You will be able to hear, but at the same time, listening to even the minute things in life, because you could be missing out on many things that will really help you to work on your blurred vision. You see, all this, it is connected, it is interconnected. So listening to minute details, understanding things, at the same time, listening to what you really require and need is very important, because one word, one sentence, one look can definitely change your life for the better. So listening, seeing everything is important. So it can really impair that, and you will feel that you are out of focus, and also you have gone out of the track. That is the second point. The third thing is you fail to feel. You will not have any skin problems. You will not literally have any problem with your sensation and things like that. Empathizing and sympathizing, both are important. But when one dominates the other, and when you feel that empathy is more or sympathy is more, that is what leads to disorder, sometimes psychological disorder also. Now, both are important and you need to balance it. When you stop feeling with other people for all the right reasons, listen to me very carefully. Sometimes you feel for a person for all the wrong reasons and you try to please everybody. That is not correct. Pleasing, trying to convince everybody, trying to pay attention to everything that is not necessary is not really necessary. Of course, you need to feel, you need to understand, perceive, don't judge. Sometimes you have to analyze, assess, and then draw the conclusion. I'm talking about the power of decisiveness. That is very important. And as you already know, wisdom is really different from knowledge and information. So all these things contribute to that. So feeling for another thing, feeling for people, feeling for everything that is around you is very important, because that connects you to the power to listen. It works on your vision also. So that is the third point. And the final point is failure to speak. Many people tell me that I find it very difficult to speak to people, not just walking up to a stage and facing an audience. Of course, that is something which is different. You have to give practice to yourself, and everybody cannot do it, but everybody can do it with some practice, believe me. Now, I'm not going into that. I'm talking about the speaking procedure, the speaking process where I'm talking to you or I'm facing a person, I'm looking at a person, I'm trying to convey something. That is difficult for some people. I'm not talking about the English language or any foreign language. Even when you speak in your mother tongue, some people, when they use their most comfortable language, they find it difficult to convey certain things. Not because they are not a good communicator. Failure to speak. Failure to voice their opinion. When you sit in a group, they don't know how to face, how to even voice their opinion. They always restrict themselves, refrain, and also what happens, they confine themselves because they have got that fear. What if the person doesn't take me in the right way? What if I'm not able to please everybody? What if somebody else thinks, oh, what is she or he trying to convey? It is something really foolish. It's something really stupid. Worried, anxiety, fear, all these things stops you from voicing your opinion. And even speaking, which is really simple. Can I have a glass of water? Can I get a glass of water? That also you need to think for so many really a great number of times, which is not always required. So when you have blurred vision, when you have this failure to understand things, perceive things, even when you fail to listen to the minute details that is around you, what happens? It's totally shut. You're forced to zip your mouth and you're forced to not think, listen, and finally what happens? You will not be able to speak because nothing is happening. It should happen parallelly. All these things start stopping you from progressing, from evolving, from becoming a better version of your personality. I hope you understand what I'm trying to tell you. So fear is a very simple word. It looks very cute. Fear, simple. So if you have got it in the right proportion, it's good because it helps you to evolve for all the right reasons. But when you become subservient to it, when you start telling, okay, fine, now you lead me. I surrender to you. When you say such things, it's over. You don't do it consciously. I know that very well. You do it subconsciously. And sometimes what happens when you do it subconsciously, it starts driving you even unconsciously. So beware. And I'm not trying to frighten you and tell you that fear is really, really very something that is going to eat you up. It could corrode you. It's like corrosion. It's a very small and steady and slow process. So initially it starts small. It takes smaller steps and then it counts, just like how you work on your language skills every day consistently, and that leads to evolution and progress of your language skills. Just like that, this is teaching you something. This is telling you that small and steady steps can do much. So learn that from fear and don't be subservient to it. Do not surrender your life to fear. Identify fear. Don't say, I'm not going to be scared, and try to be assertive and dominating. You have to be authoritative, you have to be assertive, you have to voice your opinion for all the right reasons. At the same time, identify. Ask yourself, when do I get scared? When do I get nervous? When do I have that fear? And start working on it. So I hope you're really taking care of yourselves and that you really understand what I was trying to convey through this video. Happy learning, and thanks a lot for reaching this end of the video. Bye-bye.